Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, coming back at you on Thursday, May 26th, 2022, the first TWAB post-release of Destiny 2 Season 17, Season of the Haunted. I hope you Guardians have been enjoying de-hauntifying the moon and playing around with Solar 3.0 and all the new stuff we've got going on right now. If you're somebody who hasn't had a chance to dive into Destiny, well, get on in there. An entirely new season of content is live, and if you missed out on a lot of the news this week, of course, we've got videos covering all of it here on the channel. I have a link to our trailer breakdown for Solar 3.0, as well as Season of the Haunted and the new stuff in the game down in the description box below. But as for this TWAB, well, Bungie's talking a bit about some of the new things we've gotten access to this week. In particular, they spent a lot of time explaining some of the new activities, the nightmare containment on the Leviathan, and even talking a bit about the inspiration for the new Scythe relic that you can use in those activities. But when it comes to straight news, of course, we've got a few things to talk about. First things first, the brand new dungeon will be going live tomorrow, May 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So at reset time tomorrow, a new dungeon experience will be going live. It's going to have pinnacle rewards inside of it, new armor, new weapons, new challenges. There's even supposed to be a new exotic and exotic catalyst tied to it. So if you're someone who's itching for some brand new content to dive into, make sure you're around at reset tomorrow. But beyond a brand new dungeon, we also, of course, had the introduction of Solar 3.0, complete with its own set of aspects and fragments, some of which you may have noticed over the course of the week aren't quite available yet. This led to a lot of speculation with players, basically a lot of us assuming that those aspects and fragments would probably go live after completion of the dungeon that goes live tomorrow. Well, thankfully, Bungie's actually here to shed a little bit of light about why some of those aspects and fragments aren't yet available. Here's what they had to say in a section titled Solar 3.0 Fragment Details and New Solar Armor Ornaments. By now, many Guardians have already started diving into what Solar 3.0 means for new combat possibilities. Just like with Void 3.0, Solar's revamp can be done through Ikora in the tower before meditating at the kiosk near her to lock in the newly learned disciplines. You may or may not have noticed that there are a few select fragments that are locked. Don't worry, it wasn't Telesto this time. Telesto's the reason Banshee keeps disappearing and you can't load into the tower. This time, these locked fragments were actually intentional. Since we're a one-team, one-fight type of bunch, there are 4 fragments that can be unlocked via the community working together. How? Well, they're glad you asked. Guardians can unlock additional fragments for Solar 3.0 by completing a number of nightmare containments. Each Guardian that fights the good fight will count as a completion, so having a full fire team that is focused on the objective will benefit groups greatly. Basically, double the progression for a team of 6 versus, say, a team of 3. The goal is to hit 20 million completions as a community. And when we hit that goal, those locked 4 Solar 3.0 fragments will be unlocked and ready to pick up from Ikora. That being said, there is one thing to note about the fragments. There was some confusion during the launch of Season of the Haunted, and Bungie wanted to explain what happened and what is actually intentional. The 4 locked fragments were always intended for this particular community-driven initiative, but there was a small hiccup on day 1. To clarify this, the 4 fragments that will unlock after the above community effort are Ember of Empyrean, Ember of Char, Ember of Ashes, and the Ember of Wonder. However, some players reported being able to receive some of these early. This is connected to something the team found in their investigations that allows early access for veteran players who had previously built into the Solar subclass, whereas newly created Guardians will still have these locked. This has caused some players to unlock Ember of Ashes and Ember of Wonder, which were intended to be locked. Also, some players were unable to acquire fragments that should have been unlocked for everyone at the start of Season of the Haunted. Those players were not able to receive 2 fragments, which were meant to be available on day 1, called Ember of Eruption and Ember of Searing. The team has made the decision that they don't want to remove any fragments from people who have already unlocked them, and their goal is for all 6 fragments to unlock when we hit the community goal mentioned above. We're sure it'll happen in no time. Fire can't be tamed, and apparently this is also true in Destiny 2. So, what does this mean for players right now? Well, for now, Bungie encourages players that have the unlocked fragments to play around with them and experiment with different playstyles. For everyone else, we're getting closer to reaching the unlock goal, and we hope that you enjoy the new season until then. And just to stop right there, this was definitely something I noticed. I'm one of the people who was able to get access to both Ember of Ashes and Ember of Wonder, which Bungie mentions here were supposed to be locked, and it was just basically Ember of Emprian and Ember of Shar that I didn't have access to. I will say I don't mind the notion of kind of a community challenge to unlock additional powers. I actually think that's kind of cool. I wish Bungie would have told us that on day one. I don't really think there was any kind of excuse for leaving this sort of thing up in the air for players to guess about until, they put out their weekly news video. That probably should have been either in the Solar 3.0 Vidoc that they put up on earlier this week, or on the trailer itself. Or, even somewhere in the game. You could have given us a tooltip saying, hey, some of these unlocks, some of these fragments are going to be tied to Nightmare Containment. When we complete a certain number of them, you're going to get access to them. I think Bungie probably could have given us the heads up on that a little bit earlier rather than letting us try to figure it out ourselves. Either way, I doubt it's going to take much longer for us to hit that 20,000 completion goal for Nightmare Containment. And if you haven't had an opportunity to go and try that game mode, it's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. But beyond that, we've got some Iron Banner stuff to talk about. Of course, Iron Banner is going to be seeing major changes here in Season 17, and we'll be seeing some of those changes starting next week. In case you missed it, Bungie previously shared a ton of news about Iron Banner and explained some of the reasoning behind Iron Banner's most recent evolution. They talked about that in a previous week. Basically, Lord Saladin's going to be getting his vendor inventory revamped to be more along the lines of that of Lord Shaxx and Saint 14 for the Trials of Osiris. In particular, you're also going to be able to focus Iron Engrams the same way you can focus Trials Engrams over at Saint 14. But that wasn't the only changes we got for the Iron Banner. From now on, Bungie's also going to be disabling power levels in the Iron Banner, so you can use whatever gear and light level you want. Iron Banner is also going to come bearing a brand new PvP map alongside the returning D1 game mode Rift. This map is going to be called Disjunction. It's going to be available for all PvP game modes, though Rift is just going to be available for Iron Banner until Season 18. As usual, Iron Banner will also offer an excellent opportunity for you to stock up on Pinnacle gains. So make sure you're prepared to step into the Iron Banner when it returns next week starting May 31st. Oh, also do remember, Iron Banner is now a twice-a-season event. That's right, we're going to be seeing a lot less of Valis Forge this time around. First Iron Banner will be starting on May 31st, and the second one will begin on July 12th. Make sure you're staying tuned for that. But alright Guardians, that's pretty much it for the biggest bits of news contained in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. There's a lot of really fun new stuff going on in Destiny right now, and I hope you Guardians are having as much fun with it as I am. But that's the news, those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.